So good morning. Welcome back for yoga practice. This morning, I'm going to be focusing on the practice of gratitude as a way to benefit ourselves physiologically, emotionally, neurologically, mentally, spiritually. As we sometimes say, gratitude is an attitude, but it's also a practice. We actually have to practice, right? That means that we have to be in the flow of practicing it because our brain is likely to choose something other than gratitude, particularly if what we're experiencing is a kind of stress or tension that's coming up. We end up collapsing into parts of the brain that don't first go to gratitude. So let's see how this unfolds for us this morning. Please take a comfortable seat, find your place. Jen, is it still the case that you can't hear me?
I can hear now. Oh, sorry, I had my mic on.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Let me mute it. But yes, I can hear you now.
Great. No worries. I want you to be able to hear me, of course. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a comfortable seat and just see how the practice of gratitude becomes not just an inner attitude, but it's something that we adopt as a practice. But rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes if that helps you. And bring your attention in and down. And I say in to yourself and down into your body. And when you sense the breath coming and going, allow it to do that on its own rhythm. In other words, don't begin your yoga practice trying to make the breath happen. Relax any sense of coercion or force and allow your body to be breathed in the most natural way. And while it can seem genuinely difficult to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, we don't want it to be superficial. It's not a false undertaking. It can seem very hard when circumstances are challenging or difficult, tumultuous. All of that is true. And so we're going to start with an actual practice, how we cultivate this gratitude. And let's begin with a couple of the simple functions of the body. For example, noticing that your breath is coming to greet you. Notice that your hands resting in your lap, they have a certain weight and temperature. And your knees experience that gentle weight from your hands, and they share the temperature. That's a sign that your body intelligence is functioning right now. Even if you've been hugely distracted or very distressed, your body intelligence is actually trying to keep up with you. Remember for a few moments that we have fingernails, and the fingernails are not just decorations. They're a part of what protects the sensitivity of our fingers. And your fingernails grow themselves, remembering to do the fingernail thing. And while sometimes you might feel inconvenience that you have to go clip your fingernails, or some of you go and you get a manicure, at the deeper level, the fingernails are your body intelligence, just taking care of you moment to moment right now, without even needing a reminder from you. And we can also consider the circulation and innervation pathways. Those are working well enough for you to be here this morning. And we can extend our gratitude to the rivers of circulation in the body and the myriad pathways of innervation. And each of those functions, innervation and circulation, they have both what we call away from and toward responses. So innervation goes out to the periphery, and it brings information back from the periphery to the central nervous system. Circulation goes out from your heart, and it is also returning to your heart. Let's give gratitude for this demonstration of reciprocity, flowing out, returning back in. And so beginning with those gentle reminders of gratitude for the functions of your body. Please know that I know that it doesn't feel wonderful to be in your body every day. It's not always a magical experience of vitality and ease. And some days it's very difficult. The body can hurt, you can feel tired. We can have a lot of body image distress or even body-centered self-hatred. So we're just starting right now with this gratitude practice to say, oh, there is this breath. There is this body intelligence. There are functions happening that are supporting us right now. So see how that might kind of land in your attention. Can it kind of infiltrate past the normal mental Ferris wheel? And please bring your hands to your heart. Acknowledge your efforts to be here for yoga practice. And if you like, you can bow your head to your heart. And then please release your hands and come up to standing. You can set your blanket aside. And let's reach for 2 blocks to support the standing position. You may just place them in front of you on the floor. When you rise up to stand, place your feet so they're hip distance apart. And just start by rocking a little bit forward and a little bit back. Just to feel into your feet, making contact with the ground. But also as you rock a little forward and a little back, you're going to start noticing that your body has a center of gravity. And it knows how to keep you from just toppling forward or just falling backwards. So let's do this. We'll inhale as we come forward. Exhale as you rock back. You're not going that far, so keep the breath slow and simple. And when you're sensing that, now we're going to add to this action. Inhale, come forward and raise up on your tiptoes. Please lift your arms. And then exhale, lower your arms, lower your heels, and stand in the plumb line of your body at the end of the exhale. Again, inhale. See if you can time the movement of your body with the length of your inhalation. And then exhale, float your arms down. And as you root into your heels, set your body weight into the plumb line from your heels to the top of your head. Twice more, please. So this is a really simple activity. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's very simple. And one of our intentions is to help your mind and your body and your breath come into a conversation together. So your yoga practice is a balance of mental focus or mindfulness, the breath, and your body. You shift your hands to your hips and come forward and down to Uttanasana. And this is where you can use the blocks. if you need them to make the floor closer, or you can touch the floor directly. Energize your legs from your toes to the mounds of your toes to your heels, up through your calves and your thighs into your hips. And as you inhale, swing your heart forward, raise your chest and look forward. And then exhale and bow over your legs. We're going to repeat this 4 times. So inhale, glide your spine forward. Again, you're trying to find the timing where your breath is pacing the movement of your body. It's a relatively simple movement, but synchronizing is really critical in yoga. It's a really key aspect of what we're doing. So focus on how you synchronize the rhythm of your breath and your body and your mind. And do this one more time. And bow deeply towards your legs. As you complete your exhale, press into your footprints. Sweep your arms wide. Inhale, rise up to upward hand pose. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And then just notice, drop the arms, come down to mountain pose, and notice what, if any, change happens for you when you're synchronizing your breath, your mind, and your body. And here we can start applying the teachings of gratitude. Gratitude that we have enough cognitive function, enough brain capacity, enough wherewithal that we could practice some simple mindfulness right now. Okay, interlace your fingers, press the heels of your hands straight down. Inhale, raise your arms up. And keeping both heels grounded and both hips centered, exhale, side bend to your left. And in this side bend, reach through both arms, reach through the thumb side of the arms. You can rest your head on your left upper arm if it fits comfortably. Press firmly into your right heel and your right toes. And let's encourage the breath now to come down into your right low belly, right hip, right sideways. And even if the sensations are tight or uncomfortable or difficult, we could apply the practice of gratitude. In this one, we could say thank you to the body for holding this tension, not in any kind of retaliation, but your body's been carrying the tension that is your life, as is the case for everyone. So you could give gratitude for your body to bear that weight and also to be willing to release the burden of the tension. Let's do an inhale to rise up. And then exhale, press out to the sides of the room, let your arms come down, and notice distinctly the difference in the right side of your torso and the left side. And interlace your fingers, press the heels of the hands straight down, raise your arms up. Appreciate even the tiniest cells in your body right now are making an effort. The effort that they're doing is to exchange, let's say, prana or vitality, breath, space, freedom, to exchange that for the burden of non-breathing or non-stretching or the accumulated weight of the stress of life. Press into your left heel and toe, so that's a very firm place that you're standing. And then bring the breath down into your left hip, left low belly, left sideways. And even if your body is not exactly as you would want it to be, and if it falls short of your conditioned perfectionistic ideals, we want to practice the attitude of gratitude right now that your body is willing to stretch and to breathe and to release these tensions. Inhale, raise up to center, stand tall. And as you exhale, press out to the sides of the room. And again, come to mountain pose and just notice, like if you let the arms dangle, just check in and see, oh, your body's doing amazing things. Okay, take both arms out in front and wrap your right elbow over your left. And as you wrap the arms, then you're going to weave them around like a rope, like this. Now, it's not the case that everyone's arms can wrap, in which case you're going to pick up the yoga strap. I have one over here, and you would hold it between your hands. So the idea is to stretch the upper back and the shoulders. If you can, weave the elbows. If you can, you weave your wrists and your fingers. This is the top half of a pose called eagle pose. Place your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Bend your knees a little bit. Breathe in and lift your elbows. And then exhale, bring your elbows down towards your sternum. Let's do that again. So you're going to breathe in and lift the elbows up. You might feel your upper back there. Then exhale, pull the elbows down. You might feel your shoulders. Do that one more time. Breathe in. There you go. And exhale, pull the elbows down. Now, with the knees a little bit bent, you can bend them even more deeply and come down to a little forward bend. Notice your upper back and your shoulders, whether you have the elbows woven together and you're holding a strap or you're holding your hands. Take a deep breath into your lower belly and exhale completely. And then release your hands or your strap, release your elbows, raise back up to standing, take the arms up. And exhale, lower the arms down. And as your arms dangle, notice the difference between your right and your left shoulders. I might even give appreciation for the complexity of the shoulder joint. And in our particular design as a species, our shoulder joint has the capacity for a full circle. That's how it's designed. We don't use that very much. People are doing a lot of sedentary things in the front plane of the body, but we can just give gratitude for the intricacy and the complexity of the shoulder joint. And let's take the left elbow over the right now. Leave the arms around or hold a strap. Either one is okay. Take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance and bend your knees. And then inhale, raise your elbows up. And exhale, pull the elbows down. So we have the knees bent to keep the pelvis more stable. So when you inhale and raise your elbows, also keep your tailbone down. We don't overarch the lower back. And exhale, elbows can snug in towards your chest. And do that one more time. And exhale, snug in. With the knees bent a little bit, or you could bend them a lot. Go ahead and come down into a forward bend. Notice how gravity changes the experience of the stretch for your upper back, for your shoulders. And if your body has been carrying tension between your shoulder blades or around your neck or the base of your skull, whatever it is, I'm going to ask you to practice some gratitude. Appreciate your body for trying to metabolize that tension for you. And though sometimes it's misguided, when the body holds the tension pattern, it's not trying to retaliate. So we are giving it permission right now to release. Let's unclasp the hands, wrists, elbows, and shoulders. And then inhale, raise your arms and come up. And then exhale, release both arms again and stand in mountain pose and just say, oh my gosh, thank you, neck and shoulders. Thank you, upper back, for what you have been carrying. And thank you also for being willing to let it go. Okay, let's take a wide stance, please. Place your feet so they're like one of your leg length widths. Reach back to interlace your fingers. And if that's really hard to do, because sometimes it is, you can reach back and hold onto a yoga strap instead. Whichever way you go there, roll your shoulders back, bring the shoulder blades in towards your spine, and then let the hips come a little bit forward in line with your toes. Lift your chest and heart, open your throat. And then as you exhale, steady the muscles of your legs, come forward over the top of your thighs. Release your torso, relax the weight of your head. To whatever extent it's possible, you can bring your arms overhead. You also could choose just to place your hands on the floor or on your blocks. Let's bring in appreciation or gratitude right now for the systems of your body. So circulation, innervation, the muscles, the joints, the bones of your body, everything that has learned to hold tension for you and is also willing to let that go. And with your inhale, then raise your chest and heart forward, rise up to standing. Release the clasp of your hands or the hold you have on the strap, and let's feel the heel toe come to mountain pose. So one way you could think of this is like if you were going on a long journey with someone, let's say a friend, and everything that you were carrying, you started giving them one piece at a time, and then you just got into the habit of giving your friend everything to carry. And you didn't know that your friend was carrying so much because the habit became so reflexive. And then when you get to the place in the journey where you can actually put stuff down and take a seat, you realize, oh my gosh, my friend has been carrying so much for me. And we would express some gratitude or appreciation for that friend to be carrying that. In this case, it's us, it's our body carrying the tension or the stress, often our own and others. We also take in their stress. They don't even have to give it to us on purpose. We are taking it, we're adopting it. They too have their own reaction to their stress, but what we also take in from others, we've been carrying. Your body's been carrying it. And so sometimes the symptoms of anxiety, depression, joint pain, muscle pain, fatigue, all the things in the body, it's from carrying so much. Like we sometimes say, carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, or carrying the weight of responsibility. So we can express to the body gratitude for those efforts. We can also come in with greater wisdom right now and say, there's a new way. We don't have to carry all of that. As we release the tension, we get to have a new way, a new understanding. So now I'd like you to come down to your hands and knees and set up so that you can put your blanket aside, but have your blocks at the ready. Let's put the blocks under the hands, and place your hands so that your fingers point forward on your blocks. Let's call this like an elevated table pose. Maybe we have extra long arms. As you next inhale, take the tailbone down and round your spine into cat pose. And then exhale, lift your sitting bones. Bring your spine forward, lift your heart forward, and come into cow pose. Now, if you just notice in cow pose for a few moments, when you take the pubic bone back and you bring the heart forward, lift your chin, how much of the front body is actually stretching? So much, right? And then root down through your arms and your knees and come into cat pose. Notice the back hemisphere of your body. All the places that are stretching or releasing tension. And let's once more come into cow pose. So lift your sitting bones, bring your heart forward. And then bring it back to table pose, a neutral pose. Step the left foot back to plank. Step your right foot back to plank. Gaze down between your thumbs and lift the base of your skull. Press firmly down with both arms and both hands. And if plank pose is a pose that's difficult for you to hold, if you're still building core strength or stability, by all means, touch the knees lightly down and then lift them back up so you can do plank pose intermittently. Maybe you'll do it 5 or 6 times. Let's take another deep breath in, strengthen the whole of your body. And then exhale and touch your knees down. Separate the knees, put the big toes together, And as you reach back to child's pose, let's put a block under the head, please. Or, of course, you can use 2 blocks if you prefer. Notice your body moving from exertion to ease. Let's give some appreciation for the body's willingness to make that transition from exertion to ease. And then walk your hands forward and place the 2 blocks again. So with these 2 blocks now, I'm going to ask you to think about your shoulders go over your wrists to start in table pose or in plank pose. But in downward dog pose, the shoulders are going to be more fully extended. So let's keep the left hand on the block where it is now. Take your right hand forward. And then as you reach back, stretch your right hand firmly on the block. Reach back with both hips. Relax the weight of your head and notice how much openness your right shoulder is able to have right now. Inhale deeply. And then exhale, press into your left hand, straighten your left elbow, and step your right hand and your right block back to table pose. Take the left block well forward, like this. Press into your left hand, reach your hips back. You can bend the right elbow, of course. Relax the weight of your head. Breathe in. Notice the openness of the left shoulder. And then exhale, press firmly into your right hand. Walk your left hand back to table pose. Curl your toes under and raise your hips high into downward facing dog. So whatever openness you had in the last stretch in each arm is the openness that you're looking for in downward dog pose. When we raise our hands up onto the blocks, it should put more of our strength or body weight back into the hips and heels. So lengthen your spine and actively press back away from your hands. And then please exhale and come forward to plank pose, where your shoulders go over your wrists. If necessary, you can step the toes slightly back and turn it into plank pose. Press your arms firmly down so you are strengthening your core, as well as other muscles that support your core to be steady. And then exhale and touch your knees very slightly down. And then sit back this time to kneeling. So when you come to kneeling, rest your hands in your lap and take notice of how many systems in your body are working right now. Respiration, circulation, innervation, your senses, your organs, the joints, muscles and bones, eyelashes, skin cells, and deeper than all of that, your digestive, immune, and endocrine systems are also doing good work right now for you. Okay, let's step the right foot forward between the 2 blocks, and this is a good time to place your blanket for your knees, also to hydrate. So let's put both knees on the blankets to start. And you can come up to your knees so you know that your knees and hips can be vertical like this. Then step your right foot forward between the 2 blocks. This is called proposal pose, right, as if we were making a proposal. And then bring your fingertips down to the blocks. And so when you come down like this, if you set yourself up in proposal pose pretty well, and by the way, use all the padding you need for your knee. When you come down, then notice that your knee right here is vertical to your heel, but when you come down, the knee is going to be vertical to the toes. So we do want some ankle flexibility like that. We don't need the knee to go past the toes, but it's okay to develop that kind of ankle flexibility here and some flexibility in the calf and also in the knee joint. Allow your hips to ease towards your right heel. So you may be sensing your left hip flexors. And so here what we're going to do is start another layer of the practice of gratitude. And we can say gratitude to the feet for all of the steps they will take today. Walking to and fro, one room to the next, from the house to the car, from the car to the grocery store, perhaps walking through the grocery store aisle, perhaps walking in the park. All the steps your feet are going to take today. And let's bring the hips slightly back until you're in that proposal pose position. Curl the left toes under and straighten your left leg. As you straighten your left leg, press down into your left toes, press into your right heel and toes, and then raise your hands up to your hips and come into the base of the crescent position like this. And you may feel your left hip flexor still. Gratitude for all the stairs you might climb. Some of you may climb stairs today, some of you may not, but this in and out of the car, or from sitting to standing, standing to sitting, all the ways in which your hip flexors help you to navigate just the daily function of life. Let's raise the arms. Take a deep breath in, please. And notice how your body responds when you offer it appreciation versus criticism. And we're going to exhale, take the arms wide. Try to keep your legs stable as you come over, just to touch the blocks lightly. And then touch your left knee thoughtfully down to your blanket. You could put the two blocks on the inside of your right ankle. Take the right knee back. You can move the two blocks to the right and step the left foot forward. And then put the blocks in this, I call this the bookending position, when you have them bookending your front foot. Okay, let's check again that we start vertical. So your hips are vertical to your right knee. And then ease forward. Bring your fingertips to your blocks. And your left knee is going to come just slightly over the toes of your left foot, but not really beyond that. Please keep your left heel grounded. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, you can appreciate all the times in this day that you're about to have here, whatever day it is, whether it's Wednesday before Thanksgiving as the day that we're teaching, or some other day that you're practicing. How many places will you be sitting? The chair, the car, your desk, maybe a waiting room, maybe an office. Let's give appreciation for all the ways in which your feet and legs will carry you to and fro, and they will help you to sit and to stand. Let's back the hips up until you're kind of in that proposal position again. Tuck your right toes under. Straighten your right leg behind you. Root down into your right toes and your left heel and your left toes. Bring your hands up to your hips and come into the base of your crescent like this. Yeah. And with the hip flexors, you know, what happens when we sit so much is that they actually do get shortened. And sometimes the hip flexors are feeling the stress response in your daily life, and they want to help you get up from your email and run, like flee, or they want to help you, you know, fight, and yet you're sitting at your desk managing something. And so the hip flexors can have a lot of unmetabolized fight or flight reactions. So breathe in and appreciate your body. Let's raise the arms and notice, how does your body respond when you're trying to practice gratitude or appreciation rather than criticism or disappointment? And then we're going to exhale, take the arms wide, come slowly forward. And as you touch down with your fingers to the two blocks, lightly bring your right knee down. You could put the blocks both on the inside of your left foot, step your left knee back, and come into kneeling or sit on a couple blocks if that's easier for you to do right now. Notice the echo of those practices in your body, just right now. Notice also, how does your body respond when you cultivate this attitude of gratitude or appreciation? Of course, we don't always experience perfect health or perfect harmony or equanimity. And so the temptation to be unhappy with something about the body could be there, or the temptation to feel betrayed by our body could be there. And yet your body at a fundamental level is never trying to betray you nor to retaliate against you. Though our bodies are taking in so much information, including, as I said before, the burdens of others or the stressors of others. So our bodies are taking in so much that we are unaware of, and the body can only hold so much for so long. And sometimes what you'll have then are the symptoms of your body actually saying, no, it can't keep carrying this or that thing. And sometimes those symptoms will show up as inflammation. You might feel it as joint inflammation, or it can be inflammation in the organs or in your brain, for example. Inflammation as a systemic experience does alter our well-being. It alters our digestive function, our metabolic function, our immune function, our endocrine function. It alters so much. And then your body is trying to keep up with the kind of continually rising levels of inflammation while you're also trying to, let's say, control it, coerce it, manage it, maybe with a diet, for example. And then you're in conflict between you and your body intelligence. There's a conflict. So we have to reduce inflammation to really come back to understanding this body intelligence and its innate earnestness and innocence. We reduce inflammation in a yoga practice, but this gratitude practice adds another layer of that inflammation reduction. So let's take a little journey now for the organs in the abdomen. I'm going to ask you to fold a blanket to sit on, something like that. I just did that quickly. So I took my blanket like this and I put it down, and then I fold it in thirds. So it's a firm blanket to sit on. When you take this seat, go ahead and cross your ankles. So you've got your right ankle in front of your left ankle. Raise your hands out over your knees like this, and then lift your chest and your heart, open your throat. This is like doing cow pose. You do want the arms to be taut. Press your knees down with your hands on your knees. Raise your collarbones up and stretch your throat. And then exhale and bring your chin down towards your throat and round your spine. Keep pressing the knees forward so your arms are still strong. And then raise up to what would be neutral between those two options. So you're sitting straight up on your sitting bones. The spine is vertical. Cross your left hand over your right knee. Take a block with you if you like, and please twist to your right. Now, as you're twisting to your right, I'm going to ask you to give some gratitude to the organs, the inner organs. So on the right, we have the liver, gallbladder, the right kidney, the right adrenal gland, you also have the stomach, small intestine, and ascending colon. With an exhale, come around to face forward. Appreciation for the right hemisphere of the abdomen, all the organs that are there. Let's change the ankle squeeze. This is called a squeeze and release technique. When you twist, you are squeezing. When you release, you come back to center, and circulation is refreshed in the organs. During the squeeze, you're kind of like squeezing a sponge, and then it gets refreshed afterwards. So cross your right hand over your left knee. Take a block with you if you like. Lengthen up through your spine and rotate to look over your left shoulder. And bring appreciation or gratitude now to the organs in the left side of the abdomen. So your spleen, your pancreas are there. Parts of the small intestine, left kidney, left adrenal gland, the descending colon. And then exhale and come around to face forward. And again, notice in the release, you had the squeeze, now you have the release. And then we're going to come down to the floor. Come onto your back, please, with your blanket. Now, when you come down, you may actually want 2 blankets. And here's the reason. So we're going to use 1 blanket to cover up with. Let's do this. You could take 1 blanket and go lengthwise from the feet up your legs to your chest and your heart, like this. Okay, now take the 2nd blanket and go with me here. Just watch for a second. We're going to unfold it. And then fold this blanket in half, length to length, a couple times. So you've got a long, narrow blanket like this, right? And this is going to go over your eyes and your ears. So another thing we can give our gratitude to is our senses. And frequently, if we've been living in the stress soup of inflammation, we have altered our senses to be more vigilant or hypervigilant. And sometimes the senses have to be taught again how to come back to homeostasis. So we take this blanket, it goes over your eyes, on your forehead, not on your nose or your nostrils, of course on the nose, but not the nostrils. And then you can squeeze it on the sides like this to also buffer or cover your ears. And then take your arms out into a T shape. Relax your shoulders down towards the floor. Notice your shoulder blades resting into the ground. And start letting every part of your body become more and more deeply relaxed. Notice the back of your shoulder blades, the back of your shoulders. Allow your arms to also get heavier with relaxation. Now deeply relax your wrists, your hands, your fingers, and your thumbs. Notice the relaxation even coming into your fingerprints. Invite yourself to release whatever you're holding unnecessarily. And as the arms and hands get heavier and more relaxed, then allow your heart to be at ease in the center of the chest. Let the shoulder blades drop down into the ground again. And practice gratitude for the heart, for its circulation, for its cleansing properties. And how the heart collaborates with the rest of the body. And allow the rib cage to relax and for the muscles between the ribs to soften. Relax whatever unnecessary tension you might have at the solar plexus. And then come down into the organs of the abdomen. And again, a practice of gratitude as each of the organs right now is aiming to come back to homeostasis. Gratitude for the organs that cleanse your blood and support digestion. They cleanse through the lymph system, the kidneys to the bladder, all these intricate processes, digestion, absorption, elimination. Let's give our gratitude. And then appreciation for the pelvis and even the organs there, organs of reproduction, elimination, as well. In the pelvis, we have the hips, the sacrum, pelvic floor. And then gratitude for the legs, thighs and knees, shins, ankles, feet and toes. Now gratitude for the whole of the body and for your efforts to be here. Gratitude for the part of you that puts your feet facing forward on the path. Now welcome a slightly deeper breath and wiggle your fingers and your toes. We'll reach up and remove the blanket, and that's where you're going to then notice your eyes and your ears and your senses, and give some appreciation for the senses that all day will be navigating whatever's coming your way. And then please bend one knee at a time. Roll to your side. And you can bring yourself back up to sitting. Move over to a comfortable seat. As you raise up, rest your hands in your lap once again, and let's notice, what is it like to cultivate this offering towards your body? How does your body respond when you give appreciation, gratitude versus pressure or criticism? And then please raise your hands to your heart. Thank you very much for sharing this time. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste. And to all who watch this practice on YouTube, thank you for being here. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button for the video if this was helpful to you, and go ahead and leave a comment or a question in the place below the video so I can get back to you. Yoga is a very healing practice, but having connection with each other is also deeply important to our healing. So thank you once again.